It's like the telescope equivalent of a very big tattoo on your face. Hello and welcome to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at the Celestron Astro Fi Wi-Fi telescope, kindly loaned to me by First Light Optics to review. I'm going to be keeping this for about 2 months, so this is going to be one of several reviews, so there will be more to come, but they're in the pipeline, so we'll start off by doing the unboxing, the setup and initial impressions, see how we go with that. So let's go for it, let's unbox it. So first things first, it's quite a pretty box it comes in really, isn't it? You can see people wanting to buy that just by looking at the box. So what do we have in the box? We've got the optical tube here, nicely packaged, and the tripod and spreader plate. Over to the right we've got the mount head. It's all in inner boxes, so it's well protected, and this compartment I've already opened, and we've got the counter eyepieces, which are a nice upgrade from the usual modified achromat eyepieces that come with telescopes, and a battery pack. This looks to take, what does it take? Looks like it takes double A's, maybe, can't quite see at the moment. Is it six double A's? Useful information to know if you're thinking about buying one of these. No, I think it is eight AA batteries. Let's set it up. The tripod looks very similar to the kind you get on the Celestron SLT. I think basically the Astro Fi is based on the SLT as far as I can tell, and they've just sort of like made some cosmetic changes. The tripod does look nice in black, and the aluminium feels like it's a bit more, I mean I don't know for sure, but the last telescope I loaned, the aluminium tripod was a bit soft, and it kind of like chipped easily. I can tell just looking at this, it looks a bit harder wearing, but we'll see. Here we have the mount head. Quite a weight to it. I think this whole setup's something like 6.6 kilograms, but I'll double check that. Right, so let's have a look at this close up. So this is where you secure the optical tube with the Vixen style dovetail. Underneath you can see where that bolt attaches. It looks like it might be a 1/4 inch bolt. It's quite small. Oh yeah, that feels very nice. That's very nice to do up. Not going to hurt your hands in cold weather on that. It's plastic, so it's warm to the touch, and it's nice and large, so with gloved hands in the depths of winter, that's going to be okay. Not going to struggle with that at all. Interestingly enough, the bolt for the spreader plate is a lot more chunky than the bolt to connect the tripod for the mount. Actually, I'm just wondering, I'll just show you that. That looks massive compared to the one that's on here. Let me undo that again and show you. It looks like it's 1/4 inch. And interestingly enough, the spreader plate bolt's about twice the size. I would have thought it would probably be the other way around, but that's an interesting choice. For a budget aluminium tripod and mount, I think that's quite solid. There's no sort of out of the box, it's quite firm. I can't feel any sort of play in it at all, and even if the tripod legs are a bit loose, you've got these wing nuts that you can just tighten them up, so that's very nice. So yeah, I'll just quickly go over the ports and everything on the mount head. So we've got the on-off switch there, and the mains adapter, which is 12 volt 2 amps. I'm going to turn this around in the light so we can see a bit better. We've got the 2 auxiliary ports, and there's a little tiny recessed switch in there, which I think might be for the Wi-Fi, but we'll find out. There's also what looks like a Wi-Fi indicator LED there that may light up when it's connected or trying to find connection. Again, we'll see when we're setting it up. Let's go for the optical tube next. I'm going to take my wedding ring off so I don't scratch anything. I'm going to try and keep this paper so I can send it back nicely wrapped up. I probably should say I've got a real soft spot for refractors. It's just something about them that I really like and always have done. First impressions of the tube, it's kind of a piano black. It's a 90mm achromatic objective, f10. And just in case you don't know what f is, it's the focal ratio. Oh, the cap's quite stiff. It's the focal ratio of the telescope, which is the focal length divided by the aperture. Let's have a look at this. So the cap is very securely fitted. It's quite difficult to get off on this particular example, and it's got like a central cap that you can take off to put solar film on if you want to do any solar observation, but obviously you've got to be really safe with solar film, make sure it's secured properly and it's got no holes in. So that is the cap. Try and make sure I don't knock this. That's the objective inside there. Can't see it too well on the camera, but hopefully on further tests and further videos I'll be able to show you the coatings a bit more clearly. To me, just to explain it, it's kind of got like a slight purple hue to the coatings as far as I can tell, and it's very dark in the tube, which is what you want to see, so there's going to be no light bouncing around. The inside of the dew shield's very matte black, and the inside of the tube is jet black. If I take this cap out, see what the light looks like through it. Don't know if I can show that on camera. See how dark it is in that tube. You can't see any light bouncing around at all inside there. So the fact that it's a refractor, so it's got no central obstruction, and it's very dark inside the tube, means that the contrast should be very, very high indeed, which is a good thing. That's what we want. Now, I'm not quite so keen on this graphic. I know it's an entry-level telescope and everything, but it really does make it look quite cheap. It's kind of like the telescope equivalent of getting a huge unsightly tattoo, but that's my opinion. Other people might really like it. I mean, it might be good actually for kids. Kids might like the look of that, I'm not sure. I don't know if you disagree with me, then obviously feel free to put your comments below and what you think about that, but I think that's a bit much. Another interesting thing is the dovetail. It's tiny, so balancing things like heavy eyepieces, or if you want to put a camera on for some planetary or solar imaging, it's going to be difficult to move the tube up and down for balancing. You could probably put a bigger one on if you wanted to do that. I don't know if it's been obviously I think I'm hoping they would have pre-balanced this, and that being a kind of optimal place for the accessories that come with it. But if you're going to start using big super wide angle eyepieces that are quite heavy, that dovetail might be a little bit too short to adjust the balance point. But you know, we'll see how it is when we set it up actually under the stars. Let's connect it to the mount and tripod now. I'll just go in the middle of the dovetail for now. Now in real life this looks bigger than it does on the pictures. It's a more impressive looking telescope in real life. Let me see if I can sort of pan up and show you. We're only about 14 inches off the ceiling. So it's standing really tall now. And you kind of need, you need quite a long tripod with a refractor because the eyepiece is so low when you're pointing near zenith. Quite often you're using a chair or an astronomy stool when using a refractor, and especially when it's a long focus refractor like this, a classic refractor. But they are beautiful to look at, I think, the classic refractors. There we have it. Now we just need to attach things like the finder and the diagonal, and I was going to say controller then, but of course this doesn't have one. So instead of a controller, we'll be downloading the Sky Portal app on either my phone or a tablet, or both. We can try both and see what it's like. I use Android devices. I'm not really an Apple person, so we'll see how it works with Android. I've heard quite a lot about the Wi-Fi being a bit flaky on these. Indeed, when these first came out, I really wanted one. I really liked the idea of using a tablet, and I did hear some reports that the Wi-Fi was a little bit flaky, and that's why I never got one. But I'm very keen and quite excited to try this out. Thanks to First Light Optics, I get to do that without buying it, and I get to see what I missed a couple of years ago when these first arrived on the scene. Here we have the red dot finder, and the battery is just pre-installed. There's a sticker on there to tell you what kind of battery it takes. We'll pop that on here. It just slides on and does it with a little thumb screw. See how much focuser travel we've got. In this price bracket, it's a single speed basic rack and pinion focuser. It looks to be a 1.25 inch, it's not a 2 inch. I've already got grease on my fingers from the rack and pinion focuser. I can see there's some grease on there, which is obviously you do need a bit of grease to make it smooth. And that feels okay. With a rack and pinion focuser, it's not gonna slide with heavy eyepieces on because it's gonna grip with the teeth. But sometimes you can get a bit of backlash as you move it, and there's no play in that, so it's moving forward and backwards nicely. I'm getting myself tangled up with my mic cable at the moment, so I've got to be careful. Right, so we've got the mirror diagonal there, so we'll pop that in the back. It does help if I take the dust cover off. And I'm pleased to see that it is a mirror diagonal and not a prism diagonal, because it's just much better for astronomy. No artifacts and probably slightly brighter image. Let's have a little look at these eyepieces. They are Kellners, not modified achromats, so I'm quite pleased to see, because modified achromats, they're okay if you've got a very long focal length telescope, but Kellners are just a bit nice. Oh, actually they've not got any, there's no eye cups for those, so you might have to just cup your hands around them so you don't get stray light, so you might have to kind of use them like that. But that's fine. It's probably pretty good with glasses actually. We'll see what they're like. Here's the 10mm. Let's have a little look. Show you that on the camera. Is it going to focus for me? Can you see that? Yeah. So a bit tighter sort of eye relief. Probably have that one without glasses. That kind of reminds me of you using an orthoscopic eyepiece where you've not got, it's kind of almost like a slight volcano top with a chamfer on the top. So quite a classic couple of eyepieces, which is probably quite fitting with the classic style achromatic long focus refractor. So probably a good choice by Celestron to keep with the theme. I need to hunt out some batteries. Hopefully I've got 8 AAs. The kids aren't going to be pleased when I nick them from the Xbox controllers. Been to the shop and got some brand new batteries. Want to make sure everything's going to run perfectly. So really good Duracell Ultra batteries. Going to pop those in now. Right, let's go. Ta-da! Right, next thing to do is download the Sky Portal app. Let's download the app now. So I'm typing in Sky Portal into the search bar. And it comes up straight away, it's the top one there. So let's press that. And we'll install that. It's 211 megabytes, so this could take a while, so see you in a few minutes. While that's downloading, I just want to give you some more sense of the scale and how big this telescope is, because it's really quite big. Look at it compared to my acoustic guitar. That's quite a big telescope, isn't it? Yeah, okay, it's a ukulele. Waiting for my app to download. That's fully downloaded now. It's taken several minutes and it's ready to install. So hit the install button. Do you want to install the app? Okay. That's installing now. And we'll open that. So that's allow Sky Portal access to photos, media and files on your device. Why not? Yeah, we want it access to location so we can get our GPS coordinates, I think. And it tells you how to sort of like go to the Wi-Fi device settings and how to connect it all up. We'll turn the telescope on. Hopefully it will start broadcasting a Wi-Fi signal. As you can see there's a flashing red light, so it's trying to connect, it's generating a Wi-Fi signal or something. We'll see. It's doing something anyway, so that's the main thing. Okay, on my phone it says go to device settings and look for the Wi-Fi signal that your telescope is now broadcasting. The network name will start with Skylink, SkyQ-Link or Celestron. Okay, so I'm in my network and internet settings and we've got a list of everything. I've got Celestron 7E, which I'm guessing might be the one. I think that's it. Let's go back out and bring up the Sky Portal app again. Let's go to connect to begin with, because we're in daytime and we're indoors. If I can just control the telescope at this stage, I'll be kind of pleased. Connection failure. That's not good. Okay, so I basically failed to get my Motorola G6 to connect to the Astro Fi. So I've tried this Samsung tablet and it works. So clearly you can't connect every device to this, but there probably are quite a few you can connect. I mean, I've tried two. Motorola G6 is a no-go, but this Samsung 7-inch tablet seems fine. Now in the instructions it says to have this little switch here all the way to the left, but when I do that I can't get a connection. So I did it to the right and it was fine. So my take is that maybe the switch was installed on this model upside down in this particular example, maybe. I'm trying to hold this up so you can see the telescope and the arrow keys at the same time. I'm now moving the telescope using the arrow keys on the screen. So this will be the altitude, up and down. Sounds quite nice, not too loud. It doesn't stop suddenly, it carries on for a bit, so you've got to be careful with that. Both azimuth and altitude sound nice and smooth and quite quiet. We'll have a look at this outside next time and try and set it up under the stars and see if we can do an alignment routine. Okay, that concludes the unboxing setup and first impressions for the Celestron Astro Fi telescope. Please subscribe below for more content and hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.